Hello and good morning, good afternoon, where you happen to be. This is the Gravity grvt.io weekly live stream with us, the Rogue Traders, Richard and Shane. And we've got a few things to talk about today. There has been some muted action in the market, and we'll get into all that. And before I get started, a lot of people don't know exactly about Gravity. You can invest in different funds. Of course, you can trade yourself, you can trade futures, and they do tell us that options are coming down the road, so that would be great for us because we're typically options traders. However, when you're at the top of the screen here, you can just click on Invest, and you'll see the Gravity strategy. Now, here's Gravity's own liquidity provider. And then they've got, so I was looking at this, Richard, so they've got professionally managed strategies here. Right. You can see their performance. Okay. And then they've got community. Why are we a community strategy and not a professional strategy?
You can't honestly call yourself a professional. And look at us. Okay. We're not even wearing suits.
All right. We'll just stick with the
community.
Anyway,
we couldn't lose money as professionally as that.
No. It takes a real pro to lose money. Anyways, you can see the different funds. You can click their little videos, see what they got going on, see what their strategy is all about. Some people are struggling.
In fairness, it's been tough markets, right?
Yeah. Look, we are again the top.
Yeah, last one. Yeah.
What can I say? But here's the problem, guys. We've only got $26K in this account. I mean, it's nothing. It's peanuts, right? Like that's a nice dinner out with a girl you want to impress. Yeah. So we need more cash. Look, we've got a little position here. I sold some yesterday in this spike. Nice. I don't know, and then I put another order in. But we're up like $400 on this position. I mean, that's chump change, peanuts. We need to be up $4,000 or $40,000 on these positions. Yeah. So, if you've got nothing to do, send us some money. Send me $1, $10, $100,000, whatever you got, and we'll do our best to make some money for you. All right. So now that our little pitch is over, we can get on with stuff. So last week was the hang on, what's the date? It's the 18th, the 19th?
18th today.
It's the 18th.
Yeah.
Last week,
Bank of Japan decision tomorrow.
So last week was the 11th, and we were hanging out around 90K.
Yeah.
We're kind of where we were the week before.
Yeah, we were saying it's a range, and it's going to be going between 85 and 95 or something, and here we are. It's between 85 and 95.
Yeah, and there always was the threat when you're in the low 90s that there'll be a gamma squeeze and they'll run it up through 100K because that was the max pain.
Yeah.
That's been adjusted a little bit now. We can take a look at that in a minute. But really, it's done exactly what we thought it would probably do. Stay in that range for now. I know when it goes down into the mid-80s, it looks pretty damn scary. I agree. Because if that low 80s breaks, well, where's it going to go? Is 80 going to hold? Boy, if it doesn't, crashola. And then equally, just like when it gets up kind of in the low to mid 90s, it's a chip shot to $100,000.
Yeah.
And this thing could run to 100, 105 like nobody's business. It's Bitcoin. So I think that we're trading cautiously, and our strategy has been just to trade the range. Here, let me zoom out a little bit later. You can clearly see, this is the extreme low down here at 81 when everybody got, was scared a lot. And it's 94 is sort of the top. So we can say, look, 80, 84, 83 to 94, the $10,000 range. And it's just been staying there. If you played the range, kind of bought near the bottom, sold near the middle or the half, you would have been okay. You could have shorted it as well. I know that's a little bit scary to do with Bitcoin, given that it's really, let's face it, it's a new asset and it's done nothing but go up on a long-term chart over the last few years. Yeah. But there's been, you're always going to get these massive drawdowns. Always. They're always going to happen. Now, is it going to happen here? Is it going to happen up here? You never know. So I think that our strategy going forward, especially in December, getting closer to Christmas, volumes tend to shrink. Opportunities are generally not going to get as big of moves unless there's some real catalyst. Oh. Just keep playing the range. Don't put on too much size, and then see. So if you are long, you pick it up down here, and we have a big crapola. Well, guess what? It's going to hurt. or you can dollar cost average, whatever your strategy is. But if you dump that position to take the loss, it's not going to be a devastating loss because you didn't overload your position. So I think we're going to do the same thing. Excuse me. We're going to keep buying in these lower levels here from low 80s to high 80s, and try and sell high 80s to mid 90s.
Yeah.
I think we're just going to keep doing that until the landscape changes. The other thing I think we should talk about, so you wanted to talk about the Bank of Japan. That interest rate decision is tonight. That's going to be important.
I mean, it's part of the economic backdrop of where we are. But I mean, it's spooking markets, right? It's threatening to put further pressure on the carry trade, which supports the US markets. You've got a situation where the US president is determined to lower interest rates. You've got, while interest rates are rising in Japan, and these are the two sort of biggest economies in the world, or they've historically driven the world economy. And even I think Warren Buffett was reported to be buying yen, selling dollars and buying yen. So there's a lot of macroeconomic outside Bitcoin to take account of, outside crypto to take account of here. And it's spooking people, and we're seeing, AI data centers now halved in price, and even I'm short. Even the big stocks like Nvidia, I took a short position yesterday, because I just, there's just too much. We've had a massive run up, and there's not enough value there. So I think we still are at risk of a big risk off event, and that could easily bleed into crypto stocks.
Yeah, and I think the markets feel it. Yesterday we had a lot of selling pressure in the markets.
Yeah,
we saw that in Bitcoin. We had that big spike up and then the drop down.
Yeah, that was interesting. I actually sold calls at the top of that spike up. I just
that was good timing.
Yeah, that was nicely timed. So I was fortunate, but also it was kind of an informed guess.
I think you were selling the 92 calls or something, weren't they? Yeah. Were they weekly or were they monthly?
I sold them with 2 days to expiry, and I got 50 basis points, and that's all profit now.
I remember when you called that out. It started to fall. I was like, damn, you got that one good. Nice one.
Yeah, it doesn't happen often.
Yeah, every now and then the gods favor.
And interestingly, last night our momentum bot was a little bit concerned, and it got a bit short Bitcoin when it was down around about 85. But actually, this morning it changed its mind and got long, and that seems to have been the right decision.
Creeping up.
Yeah.
Excuse me. All right. So I think the big thing we can talk about too is everybody knows we're in a bubble.
Yeah.
Every time we're in a bubble, everybody knows it. You just don't know when it's going to pop.
Right.
Is it tomorrow? Is it next month? Is it next year? You never know. It's really hard to call tops. That's all there is to it. We're starting to see a lot of this AI stuff unwind. Like you get strategies, you get businesses, they just stick AI in their name,
right,
and all of a sudden they get funding. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
AI's, in a lot of ways, right now, completely useless. Other ways it has some useful. I mean, just try and use
it's useful.
Any of these things to do something logical. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
It's still got a long ways to go.
I mean, it's good at producing copy, and it's good at guiding you towards source materials. But no one pays for it, right? I mean, no one in their right mind pays for AI.
Yeah.
So, as a multi-trillion-dollar business, how's that going to pay? Right?
Yeah, an enhanced search engine, fine.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have I seen traders go out there and use AI to make trades? They get their account wiped fast, like super fast. Yeah. So, like it's not there yet. It will someday.
I've used it once to ask it to tell me what the equation was for Black-Scholes for option pricing, because of course it can go off and look on the web and give you the result. So it's like a search engine.
Yeah, an enhanced search engine is what it's really good at. Yeah. So here we are. We had a lot of weakness yesterday. A lot of these AI names are losing steam. Just like 100 years ago or 150 years ago, there was thousands of car manufacturers.
Yeah.
Well, give it 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Now everything's going to, there's only 5.
Yeah. There was a Buffett talk, actually. Warren Buffett talk. He was saying that in the early 20th century, there was 3,000 car makers beginning with the letter R in the US.
Yeah.
And now there's none.
Yeah. Yeah. And things took time back then.
Right.
Now everything's compressed.
Yeah.
So over the course of a few years, all this AI stuff's going to be washed out. Just like all these, think about crypto, trading crypto 3-4 years ago. Everything was going up. Everything, XYZ, fart this and poop this and just the stupidest stuff. Really, we're investing in this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying some of them don't have utility. I'm not pooping on everything crypto. But you knew the party had to end.
Yeah.
There's not unlimited money for this crap. And things that eventually have utility and value will rise to the surface, and everything else is going to fall away.
Yeah.
Same thing. So I think that in the AI world, the stock world, we're starting to see investors saying, hang on, oh my gosh. And we're starting to see these revaluations. We're starting to see data center information, the realities of the power, of the cost, of the projected earnings. All this stuff is starting to come home to roost, and people are going, hang on a second.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that provides the backdrop of that provides some tension between the continuous accumulation of Bitcoin by funds versus the risk-off sort of environment that's brewing out there, and it's interesting to see that play out in the crypto market. And I think this is largely responsible for what we're seeing on screen here.
Mm-hmm. So. Just take a look at Pax Gold, because I know you're a huge gold fan.
Yeah, I'm a major fan of gold.
Probably want to get involved in Pax Gold at some point.
Yeah.
I like the idea of buying pullbacks. Maybe we should just consider that.
Yeah, I think to be honest, if the platform allows it, we should just hold gold as collateral and trade Bitcoin for profit.
So Saylor bought like 10,000 and something more Bitcoin this last week, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, but I have a suspicion that they are buying Bitcoin, but they also sell them in order to pay their bills.
So sneakily selling them out the back door?
I can't tell you who I heard it from, but I heard a rumor yesterday from someone I know well who knows Michael Saylor that they haven't actually accumulated net many Bitcoin this year. And I haven't verified this myself, but the guy I spoke to isn't an idiot, right?
Wouldn't it be easy to verify?
We should look into it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the official story is that Michael Saylor added more Bitcoin to the balance sheet.
Yeah.
So, if it just ends up being one person propping up the entire market, we have problems.
Yeah. Yeah.
So could the fair value of Bitcoin be 25 or 50 or 150? I have no idea, but it could be significantly lower.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised. And that's why I'm just very hesitant, even in the stock market. I don't want to buy the NASDAQ or the S&P or NVIDIA or Tesla.
Yeah.
Well, okay, Tesla's a bit different because they're getting into space and they're going to combine Tesla with SpaceX.
You're buying into a cult when you buy Tesla, right?
and some serious technology. I mean, watching those rockets get grabbed and they're doing the robots.
Yeah.
They're doing some seriously amazing stuff. We get these other companies who just think, oh, in the future we're going to do some amazing stuff. We can't tell you what, but we're going to make trillions. Right. Okay. All right. Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right.
So
back to Bitcoin.
Yeah. So let's have a look at the liquidation heat map's not really telling us much because there isn't really much. Well, no one. I guess that massive wick yesterday would have killed a bunch of people.
Yeah.
But
it wasn't a lot. It was what? 32 million.
Well, I mean, there's 32 million outstanding here of shorts and a bit more higher up. I mean, it's within the bounds of possibility that we get back to 90k by Monday, I think, or maybe even tomorrow, maybe.
Easy.
I think if you look at the
look at the 3 day, there's nothing up
here. Yeah.
Nothing. It's a little bit down here in the mid 80s. Take a look at 1 week out.
I think everyone's gone finished for the holiday, right?
Yeah.
There's a little bit there up at 92, is it? Yeah. 91.
Yeah, about 69 million worth of liquidity up at 90.
Just go down one tick. There we go. There, 91 million. So that's about 200 million up there, in total.
Total in this area. Yeah.
And if you look at the Max Payne chart, then I don't think these days. The dailies before that don't really make much say very much. But I think here we are. They're saying Max Payne 98k.
Yeah.
Now the trouble is that a $98,000 call option right now for expiring on the 26th, on the 26th of December, is about 4 delta.
Oh boy!
And and so the whole point of the Max Payne is that there will be people who are suffering the most if the market doesn't get there is one way to think about it. The other way is that if the market goes above it, then the dealers suffer. But to be honest, if you're long a 4 delta call, you haven't paid very much. You've already lost all your money. If you bought it when it was like 20 delta or 30, then there isn't much pain there, to be honest. I think that's just a measure of open interest, of residual options that have all been closed off or are basically worthless. And I'm sceptical that we get dragged up there because of option gamma this time, just because we've been so low for so long, and that max pain is so high.
And the max pain has come down. It was like 110, 105, 100. Now it's 98.
I think people are kind of reluctantly selling 100k calls or 98k calls, but no one wants to go lower, just in case we zoom back up, right? So I think that suppressed all of the option trading for end of December. And then when it's forecasting what a fairly quiet January, February, and then a push up back up to 100k for the rest of the year. But I don't know. I don't think this is telling us very much anymore.
No.
I think because we're now so far below the range that.
And I think we need to be honest with this tool, this max pain tool. It hasn't really been a good indicator normally.
It only works because the trouble is that most of the options traded on Bitcoin are calls, not puts.
Yeah.
Because historically you wouldn't buy puts, because if the market was going to dump, then all the Bitcoin collateral supporting your put options is dumping as well, and there's a risk that the whole exchange collapses and you don't get to collect. So there's no point buying puts, right? So everyone sells calls, and so actually the max pain chart really only works when the market's rising, because it's rising into those calls.
I think we've had a lot more success with the liquidation heat map.
Yeah.
Taking out key levels.
Yeah.
We found that to be quite accurate.
And also for me, the immersive finance, the vol surface. All right, you have to refresh it.
Huh.
There was a time when Google Chrome would just leave your web pages alone. Look at that. You have to log in again. There was a time when Google would just leave your web pages open in the background.
Yeah.
Now it tries all this power saving bullshit and it destroys your work. So looking again at the 10 delta risk reversals, this is the difference between puts and calls in price. So it's telling us that puts are much more expensive than calls. So the market's much more concerned about the price going down. And minus 10% is about 50% on the fear gauge, where 20% would be abject terror, 0% would be fairly optimistic. So we're pessimistic in that regard. People are definitely buying more puts than calls, and the 25 delta risk reversal is a bit closer to the money. Same story. And then the butterflies are fairly muted. So this is the curvature of the vol surface, and this represents the risk of a massive. If the price starts to move, will it accelerate? And this is telling us no. The market doesn't believe that there's going to be any momentum in the market at all. So the vol surface says that option traders say market's going to be stable with a downward risk.
Yeah, not surprising in December.
Right. Yeah.
And when the markets get quiet like this, I always like to buy dips and sell spikes.
Yeah.
Because it tends to not go too far, and then it slowly mean reverts. Then you're okay.
Yeah.
If you panic out, you think you're going to trade a breakout. In quiet times, that's usually a death sentence, right? So you're better to take the other side of it, in my opinion and my experience.
Yeah, and if you look at this chart here, it's actually quite nice. The blue chart is the Bitcoin price. You can kind of clearly identify areas where you should have been, if you just bought and sold buy the bottom, sell the top sort of thing. You'd have done pretty well. It's hard to call, but.
Because at the time it looks scary. All of a sudden, if Bitcoin spikes to 90, it looks, oh my gosh, are we going to 93?
Right,
so it's hard to, that's trading.
No, it's a funny thing about Bitcoin in particular, because there's nothing behind it you can measure value by. People have theories about hash rate and cost and energy cost and all that, but actually in the end it's about sentiment. Yeah. And sentiment's irrational. And so when Bitcoin drops to 90k, everyone panics. 85k, everyone panics.
Sure.
And when it gets to above 95, everyone thinks it's going to the moon.
Yeah.
And so nobody's rational, and the only way to trade it is to is to squash those emotions and just say, look, no one's got the commitment to the conviction to go and bet their life savings on this with 5x leverage on the upside, and no one really wants to sell the Bitcoin. So there is a bottom and there is a top, right?
Yeah. And I think now that Bitcoin's been brought into the fold of world finance, it becomes a risk-off asset. If things are plunging everywhere, you need capital, you need to cover margin calls, you're going to sell some Bitcoin.
And particularly if you are being essentially forced to buy silver, which has been ripping.
Gold and silver have been doing very well.
And that's the silver for the past 6 months. So if you imagine you're on an institutional trading desk and you've got the choice between telling your boss why you bought Bitcoin or why you bought silver,
And here's the gold chart for last. And this is just the ETF, GLDN, SLV, the ETFs that trade on the Amex. It's a way people can get into gold. I don't recommend necessarily SLV or GLD because it's paper.
No, they're just indicators, right?
Just give you an indication of the price. Yeah.
And in fact, and we can replicate this by buying Pax Gold on Gravity. And so imagine that underlying chart behind trading this volatility, and suddenly your 20% APR becomes 70% APR, and and your whole book looks a lot better. So I'm kind of keen for us to start edging into some Pax Gold. I think gold is a long way to go up. I think never in the history of mankind has a government ever decided to stop printing money, right? And I know this is the value argument for Bitcoin, but the Bitcoin value argument has had 10 years to prove itself. The gold value argument has had 100,000 years to prove itself. The oldest gold mines known to humanity have been found in Africa, and they're 100,000 years old, which is older than we thought humans were a few years ago.
I think that's out the window, though. Right. And anytime a government has become more fiscally responsible, it was quickly quashed. And I think that Germany in the 30s was a great example of fiscal responsibility, and they did a lot of good things, and they pissed a lot of people off, and that had to end.
And Libya, same.
Yeah, Libya, and he said Gaddafi said what he was going to do, and that's unacceptable to the people who run the world financial system. Let's not get it too far down that rabbit hole. Pax G, a great product. Like they've only had it since
beginning of the month. So there's no history here, and this has been fairly illiquid, which is understood, right?
It's new,
but I think for us, as a gradual accumulation strategy, I think it's a reasonable.
We could hold our some assets in gold. For collateral.
Yeah, we hold the collateral and trade the Bitcoin because I think the Bitcoin is not. We understand the way Bitcoin moves. I mean, I would. Gold is the kind of thing which will one day just go from what's currently $4,300 an ounce. It'll just go from $4,300 an ounce to $15,000 an ounce, right? In a week. At some point, because there'll be some mega crisis and QE and bullshit. Right?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm absolutely convinced of it. Yeah. In fact, my sort of mental target price for gold is 20,000 an ounce.
You don't think you're just being a gold bug?
No.
Okay.
I think that once things in the world happen slowly and then all at once, right? That's a famous saying by somebody. And when people finally realise that their savings are going to be evaporated. And buying stuff on credit is just going to make them poor, and governments are desperate to print money to people who can't work, and economies are collapsing. I just think people will just revert to something they really understand. And if you speak to anybody in the Middle East or in Asia, any housewife, they all hold gold. All of them. Right? It's the universal money.
I wonder, how this will tie into universal basic income.
Universal basic income is it's communism.
Well, sure, but now we're talking about AI, and I read this absurd article about, or maybe it was Musk saying, you own a Tesla bot, it'll go out and work for you and bring home an income. I'm like, That doesn't make any sense, because if I work in an accounting firm, I could send my robot to go there. Why wouldn't the accounting firm just hire their own robots? It's absurd.
They just buy their own robots.
Yeah.
I mean, why would they need me? Right?
Yeah. So I'm like, okay.
And then given that I'm not working, what do they need to account? Because I'm not buying anything.
Yeah. So if AI is going to take everyone's jobs, except for tradespeople who will always remain useful,
it's not what the AI robots are going to do is they're going to come into your house, they're going to cook for you, clean for you, and look after you and keep you safe. And they're going to monitor everything you do, and they're going to send all of that information back up to a massive data center in Texas, where a massive conglomerate,
Palantir,
either Palantir or Nvidia, and who's their partners, begins with A. Basically, there's going to no. There's actually we'll post it on Twitter. A friend of mine wrote a great piece on this. He wrote a analysis as if written in 2050 of how we got here. How did we get to the slave state? And it's all because people. Yeah. So what's going to happen is you accept a robot into your house. That gives you much more agency initially. So everyone's going to want a robot, but now everyone's being spied on. And anyone who doesn't have a robot is going to be viewed with suspicion, and they're going to suffer. They're going to suffer socially because they can no longer go out for dinner because they're busy cleaning their house, right, or making food, right? And so we're all going to get sort of hoodwinked into buying a robot, like we all got hoodwinked into buying 2 cars and 6 computers and 20 iPhones, and we're all going to become utterly dependent, apart from a few holdouts like me, who are going to sit at home with a loaded gun and shoot any robot that comes on the lawn, right? But I'm going to be seen as mad, and now you're going to have an entire world full of pathetically weak, incapable, mollycoddled human slaves.
Yeah, we're sort of there already. Look at the younger generation.
Right.
Actually, that's not true. Some of the younger generation are really making a good pushback, and I'm very proud of them, actually.
Quite so. Yeah, we show them, yeah.
But there's that kind of that, I don't know, Gen X, Z, I don't remember what the hell, who's what. But all those guys who are now kind of in their 30s and 40s and wear their skinny jeans and whatever they are, they're just so pathetic, half of them. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Anyways, what I was trying to get at was if AI takes the jobs and we've got UBI because there's no jobs for you to do, how would that affect the price of gold? I don't think we've ever thought about that.
Well, the thing is, how do you have you can't have universal basic income because someone's got to print the money, and so okay, so let's say you're a shopkeeper or you're a farmer, and you make the food that people eat. Yeah. And you're being paid by people who get universal basic income, who are basically richer than you now because they get given money and they do nothing for it. Yeah, communism. Wouldn't you just say, screw it, I'll just get rid of my farm and I'll just claim UBI? Yeah. Well, then suddenly the food stops. And
robots.
And someone's got to maintain the robots. And someone's got to program the robots, and someone's got to make sure that robots don't suddenly go nuts and kill everyone.
Other robots, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's just a recipe for disaster.
The whole thing's a recipe for disaster, if you ask me, and that's why I'm asking these questions. Yeah. Government could outlaw gold; they've done it before, and they might say, "No, you can only accept the we're going to get rid of our old currency, and now we're using this new credit system, and here you go."
Well, it's very simple. If the government asks you to turn in your gold or your Bitcoin, you simply say nothing and move countries and hide.
There's not too many countries to go to anymore because they did that with people's guns in lots of countries.
No, I know.
Look what's happening. Now they're being overrun and being shot every weekend and run over with cars.
No, I understand.
Okay, we're getting off topic.
Yeah, no.
But these are serious things. Yeah, and these affect the markets.
Well, yes, they do, and they also affect the people who trade the markets. Yeah, because you can't trade if you're dead. Right? Yeah. No, I mean we have to resist progress. Simple as that. But
you sound like the Amish now.
If well, they've got a point. Yeah. If we get UBI, then you're just going to get a whole lot of people trading all day, so you're going to get more volatility.
Great. Yeah. I love that because liquidity's dried up. From when I started trading 20-something years ago, there's so much liquidity. Now it's all gone.
No, but people like us will hoover it up pretty quickly, and they'll just have to print more. And
it's like stimmy checks.
Yeah, exactly.
You just keep getting a new one. I lost my account. New account this month. I'll refund it. Yeah. All right. Before we get, we don't want to make everyone angry or get everyone riled up before.
Yeah, we do. We get angry. You're going to get taken over by robots. You're going to get turned into food.
Yeah, resist. Yeah, we need the aliens to come and save us. Anyways, so what are we going to do on Bitcoin? this week. Let's sum it up here because I think that we're going to take a very measured approach, just like we are in our trading of the futures or stocks. We're not going to stick our neck out too far. We're not going to take any big positions right now. We're going to assume this range is going to hold mid to low 80s.
Gently buy the lows.
Mid to high 90s.
Gently sell the highs, right? That's all.
Or mid to low 90s.
Yeah. So we scale in, scale out, scale in, scale out, and then wait for something to happen.
Rinse and repeat. And it really, we might not move until January.
No, at least. Yeah.
December's usually quite quiet. Yeah. So I think that's our policy for now.
You may get some stock like a super low liquidity surge between Christmas and New Year or something like that.
But a breakout, I don't think a breakout's going to have. The only chance I think of a breakout happening is on the downside if the markets take a crap.
Yeah.
The markets don't usually do that in December, but we are in a bubble.
Yeah.
It could happen. Something could break in the system on the AI, these data centers, whatever. Some news come out and crap, and we could see Bitcoin fall with it. That's the only real danger I see is a down move at the moment.
And we didn't even mention the imminent war in Venezuela and the blockade on oil going to China and how China feels about that. And there's always a possibility of a volatility event.
Yeah, the price of oil is quite low.
Bizarre, I read an article yesterday that said if the oil companies are really cheap, and if you buy them, you're stupid, because they reckon oil's going out of business, and we're all going to be doing solar panels or something, or fusion, but mind you, you can't have fusion because the top fusion scientists keep getting shot. so I think there's life in oil. There's life in oil yet.
I think betting against oil is the wrong thing to do. Not that it might go down more, sure. I mean, you're right that MIT scientist got shot just this week.
He's not the only one. A lot of fusion scientists get shot. Yeah.
Yeah, but China has been developing the reactor, the one you wanted for your bunker.
Begins with T, doesn't it?
Thorium.
Yeah.
Yes, they've been doing a lot of work on thorium. It seems like they're the only ones working on it. I'm sure other people are, but it's the only ones I ever hear about.
Yeah. So China seems to be the only country in the world right now with a coherent leadership. That actually is focusing on building the country rather than fleecing the country. And
even though I don't agree with Chinese politics, I will admit they focus on the long game.
Yeah,
they're not concerned about
my view on this is that I'm from Europe. I've got no business commenting on Chinese politics. I've no idea what it's like to run a country like China, right? So it's none of my business.
Well, okay.
So we'll either on this episode have started a movement and we can start recruiting our army, or they'll be terrified of us thinking we're crazy.
Maybe we're a bit of both. Bitcoin's moving up a little bit. We're getting 87.3, getting close to 87.5. Nice. You can see we've got an order to sell up here at, what is that price? That's like 88 and change?
88.6.
Yeah, 88.5 around there. Maybe we'll sell a little bit, maybe make $600 or $700 on that. Yeah. And if it comes back down, we'll buy some more. So I think that's it for today. We're just going to steady as she goes, trade the range. Beware of a break to the downside. Don't get too aggressive if it does start pushing into the low 80s.
Yeah, if you start to feel like it's like can't go down, that's the time to sell.
And remember, your first loss is your best loss. It's better to get out early because you can always get back in. Even if you take a hit, you can always get back in if it seems that you were duped. If you were tricked, and that will happen. But I think that as long as you don't have your position sizing too big, you can sleep at night and feel pretty comfortable.
Patience, grasshopper.
Yes. Okay, that's it for today. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again next week.